Chittaninaham Nacha Shotra Jivhe Nacha Grana Netri Nacha Vyoma Bhumi Na Tejo Na Vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham 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 Shivoham. The last time we were discussing about how to become Shiva. Now we are all Jivas. And then from the Jiva we have to transform ourselves, elevate ourselves to Shiva. And only process is the controlling of the mind. And we were discussing about that yoga is the only path, only process that has been discovered thousands and thousands of years ago. And it has been accepted by the science and also by the Upanishads. And the yoga philosophy is not only process, it is a philosophy, it is a darshan. And the darshan means it has been accepted by the best minds of our society. So this darshana, this philosophy, for thousands and thousands of years, it has helped our people to develop, to find out the secrets from the nature. So this is yoga philosophy. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, we found that they are also accepting the same truth and the process. Unless and until we control our mind, we cannot understand the secret of the nature. And in Kathopanishad, in a wonderful way, Swami Vivekananda is very fond of Kathopanishad. And Ramakrishna Mission's Upanishad is Kathopanishad. Adi Shankaracharya, he has given all this Dasanami Sampradaya, the 10 different names of the Sannyasi Sampradaya. And he has given a Upanishad to each one, and Puri Sampradaya is having Kathopanishad. And the Kathopanishad, Swamiji is telling, forget about the truth that it is propounding. Only read for the beauty of it, the poetry, the rhythm, the way it has explained. Atmanam rathinam viddhi shariram rathamevatu buddhim tu Sharatham viddhi manapragahamevacha Indriyani hayannahu Vishayansteshu gocharan Atmendriya manoyuktam Bhuktetyahu manishinaha. This is the way they read the Kathopanishad. This is the tune of the Kathopanishad. We learned it in Belur in our training center. Atmanam rathinam viddhi. Last class we described a wonderful way they are describing this body is nothing but a chariot. And the chariot is having a master who is sitting inside, and he is Atman. Sitting inside this car, this chariot. Shariram rathamevadu. Who is the chariot? The body. And without the body, without the car, without the chariot, we cannot move. So that is also essential. We have to be careful about our body. And Atmanam Rathi, Sharira Ratha, then Buddhim to Sharatim. The driver is the Buddhi, not the Mana. It's not the mind, it is the Buddhi. Why? The mind and the Buddhi, they have differentiated. The mind is all the time dwindling. Shall I go to this side or that side? And here sometime they will be all the time crossing this way, that way. And this is dangerous for the person who is doing and the other person also driving. So that is why the Buddhi means all the time is swinging from this side to that side. Mana is swinging from this side to that side. Buddhi is determinative. So the driver should be determined. He knows where to go, how to go. So that is why Buddhim tu saratim viddhi mana pragahame vacha. And what the Buddhi will do, he will control the whole chariot through the mind. Mana means mind. He is controlling the whole chariot through the mind. Indriyani haya. Haya means the horses. And these 5 horses, you have seen how they have depicted the picture of the Arjuna and Krishna and the 5 white horses. Indriyani hayanaha. Vishayansteshu gocharan. And the object, the Vishaya, Rupa, Rasa, Shabda, Sparsha and Gandha. The beauty, the smell, the taste, like that, all these 5 things are the Vishaya. So the horse always wants to go in that side. Long back, it reminds me, the moment I say something, immediately reflect some of the incidents. There was a procession, huge procession was going on, and the Thakur, Sri Ram, Krishna, Ma Sharadamati Devi. And I suggested, in the ashram, we must have the elephant. Over that Thakur will sit. But nobody was there to sit on the elephant, which is not properly trained. So obviously, the person who was driving, the Mahut as they call, then he was dressed properly and he was holding the Thakur. But the elephant don't go, because it has seen so many green vegetables and by the side, and it's coming, and there people, they consider elephant as Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, and they are offering the different type of fruits, and elephant is going on eating, and who will drive it? At the back, the whole procession stopped. Everybody shouting, but elephant is, it never cared. Somehow we had to. So this way, Indriyani haya is the horse. And the Vishayan steshu gocharan. The Vishaya means the objects of enjoyment. If the mind is going over there, we cannot complete. Atmendriya mano yuktam bhaktistyahu manishinaha. Then it is mentioning, yastu abhigyanavan bhavati ayuktena manasa sada tasya indriyani avashyani dushtasya iva sarate. Is giving the simile. I am telling that if the mind is not under control, all the time it is going here and there everywhere, then what happens? Obviously, the same way, if you have the control over the mind, yastu vigyanavan bhavati yuktena manasa sada, whose mind is under control, tasya indriyani vashyani sadasya iva sarate. His mind, whose mind has been controlled, is like controlled horses. Vigyanam sarathim yastu. Again and again it is giving, because in those days the chariot and the horses were very important. So obviously they are giving this type of instances so the people immediately will be able to understand. Vigyana sarathi yastu mana pragahavan naraha sodhana paramapnoti tad vishnu paramam padam. Up to this we started last time. Whose mind is under control, obviously he will reach to the Paramapada. Paramapada means the final goal. What is that? Vishnu. Here the Vishnu means all pervading divinity. Vistareti Vishnu. Vistar, all pervading. Vishnu doesn't mean only forehead, hands God. Vishnu means all pervading divinity. And this all pervading divinity we can understand only when our mind is controlled. And that way we are trying to. Now Swami Vivekananda, he is telling in a wonderful way, all our knowledge is based upon experience. If the knowledge is not based on experience, this knowledge cannot help us. If we are not experiencing something, then it won't last with us. The moment somebody will come and tell something, a doubt will crop up and immediately will change. And that's why all our knowledge is based upon experience. What we call inferential knowledge, in which we go from less general to the more general, or from the general to the particular, has experience as its base. If we are not having experience, we cannot say anything. And whatever we are just fabricating, telling something as a story form, it may be very beautiful, it may be attractive, but ultimately it won't stand. Swamiji, in the very first line of his Yoga Sutra, Raja Yoga, he gave the name, Yoga aphorism, the very first line he is telling, all knowledge is based on experience. And from inference to general, slowly we go. Along back when we were going to Amarnath in Kashmir, and it was an off time, so army, they never allowed. But somehow we managed, 4 of us, and we were going all covered with snow. Almost the whole leg of our horses that were carrying us was going inside the snow. It was really very difficult and dangerous also. But we thought that is the only time we could go, so we went. And we were young, so there was no fear. When we were going, these people, those who give the horses, obviously they always try to cheat people sometimes. So they'll be telling like this, and they told Swamiji, there is no one. And it is only halfway we have come, another halfway we have to go, it is long way. And suppose something happened to you, there is no one. Then suddenly I noticed that smoke is coming out. There's a Panchatarani. From the top of the hill, you could see the 5 rivers mingling together. Panchatarani, that's the famous rivers. From there, smoke is coming out. Immediately the Vedanta helped us. And wherever there is a smoke, there is fire. And wherever there is fire, there is a human being. Obviously. Because the animal cannot lick the fire. And without fire, there is no smoke. So let us go. It is not like any other. It's just like, after when you are burning the woods, that type of smoke was coming. So obviously, I said, no, there must be some people. We went down, exhausted, and when we got down from our horses, and we were not having proper clothing, just like this clothing. So the side of the horses, that was horrible experience. When we got down, almost all of us were crawling on that. We were not having the strength even to stand. Anyway, really some people were there. They came to close down the government guest house, and they were collecting all the blankets and other things. And one of the horse, it has run away. They were searching, so stayed for the night. And we were lucky we could go over there. And they gave us hot water and all this. So this is the inference. If there is a smoke, there must be a fire. And when there is a fire, there must be human being. So that way we can come to the general. Swamiji is telling, the scientist does not tell us to believe. Then why we, the spiritual people, should ask people to believe? If the scientists are all the time experiencing, then reasoning, they are experienced and they are asking us to believe in his conclusions. There are only 2-3 steps are there. First, he will be experimenting. After the experiment, he will come to a generalization, and then he will have his philosophy, and he will ask us to believe in that. Science also all the time cannot prove. General people all the time we cannot prove. The medicine that we are eating, taking, all people cannot prove it. Some people are there, they have the system, they prove it and then give the stamp. Yes, you can take it safe. Everything is like that. But the person who has discovered, he is not asking us to believe, he is giving the proof that it is possible. Then why not in spirituality? Religion, as it is generally taught all over the world, is said to be based upon faith, belief, and in most cases consist only of different sects of theories, and that is the reason why we all find these various religions quarreling with each other. This is the basis. There will be so many, constantly we are inviting people to speak on different religion and inter-religious faith, inter-religious meet, but of no use. Why? These people will be coming and talking about himself, his faith, and not listening about others, not trying to learn about others. He is telling, we believe in this, whether you like it or not, this is our faith, bas, goodbye. So like that they are coming and telling and going away, and every time they are coming, it is of no use. What we have to do? We have to go to the younger generation who are not already stamped by this, free, open. They are ready to accept, ready to understand. And then if we go and tell them, this is the basis. This religion is like this because historical, geographical, social condition. It's not that suddenly a philosophy is coming like that. There are different type of, like in America, someone was telling, don't suddenly use the ointment, something like that on your skin, because this is particularly developed for the American skin, not for the Asians. It may, because they have developed in their own way. In our place, it is a different way. The food also different. If you go to the place where everything, he was telling him, one gentleman, he was taking me, I went to Austin, there's a hot place, and I felt that I am in Calcutta. There's a very hot and it's very good. Most of the people are bare body, good going around. So it's a hot place. And there the people like chilies. Pepper or something they say over here, no? So this is chili. And hot place, I don't know why they take chili. So something like that, it always comes. They take a lot of water also, it is necessary. So this way, every place, the geographical situation, then historical situation, social situation, and their own philosophy is coming up. That is the way it goes. And that is why, if we continue with that, not understanding the basic of it, we quarrel. And again he is telling, one man says there is a great being sitting above the cloud and governing the whole universe. And he asks us to believe that solely on the authority of his assertions. This is the problem. Raja Yoga is a process, is a philosophy, is a system which asks, don't believe. Never believe. You better practice and then come and say whether it is right or wrong. And only people on the assertion of their, just they imagine and then asking us to believe, it is very difficult. You will find that if you go to a group of people, they are thinking, oh, this is the God, and that way the temperament grew up. If you go and say, but I don't find it here, immediately they will all look at you as if you are a sinner. But that is the truth. In our childhood days, we used to make the prank, and suddenly, curious people, many people in the market, suddenly somebody, some of our friends, he will look at the sky and he will show like this. All people will come and start seeing what is there. He won't say anything because nothing is there. But he will show. And there will be automatically, because we have lot of population, so immediately minimum 20-25 people will be all looking at it, and because 25 people are looking, another 50 will join. And no one of them will be able to find anything. This way only one cult begins. Without knowing anything, without understanding anything. Swami Vivekananda is telling a story how the cult begins. Just by that way. One person, he was a thief. He went to steal in someone's house and he was caught. And in those days, you know, the police and this law, it was not so much. So what to do? They cut his nose and left. This person with the nose cut, how can he go to the society? So he went to a secluded place inside the jungle, and smearing him with mud and all that, he was sitting like a sannyasi, and to hide himself from the society so that people cannot recognize him suddenly. And people started coming, and he was not telling a single word. So people developed a lot of faith. Moni Baba. Immediately in our country they will say, oh, this is a Moni Baba. Moni Baba means great. And he lives only on fruits. Somebody will be saying, no, not on fruits, only on air. He doesn't take anything. He takes in the night only, when nobody is nearby. But that way, slowly, a lot of, and from different places people started coming. And you know, our simple-hearted ladies, the mothers, the sisters, they will be telling, when I came, I prayed, and it was answered. I got the answer. That's why. And someone, is it? I will also go. And then he prayed, and somehow his was answered. And like this, faith went on. One young boy, he got interested, and he came to that person and told, I like to be your disciple. No, he showed, no disciple. I don't know anything. But so, anyway, he was genuine. He was not. But this person won't leave. He was so persistent. I must take the initiation from you. I must be your disciple. Then he said, you better come in the dead night and come with a sharp blade. And I He thought this is the process of initiation. So he came over there. He said, give me the blade and close your eyes. He closed his eyes and he cut the nose immediately. And say, see, this is the way I got the initiation. So I gave you the initiation. You better go and somewhere. And this fellow also, what to do now? He has already lost the nose. He won't get it back. So he went to another place. He sat over there, and some people came to get initiation. So Nag Kata Sampradaya. A group of people, they grew up that they said, they're having no nose. This is the story of Swami Vivekananda. See, that is why he is telling, particularly in Raja Yoga, don't believe anything unless you examine it. And he is telling like this. And afterwards, in the same way, I have my own ideas. I'm asking people to believe it. This is why religion and metaphysical philosophy have a bad name. Religions of the world are divided in two groups, he is telling, Vivekananda. One is having book, another having no books, only on idea. Those who are having the books is very strong. Why? Because that is based on experience. And then he is telling, go to the fountainhead of the Christianity, and you will find that it is based upon experience. Yesterday, one gentleman, an American, he came to listen to my words there at Austin. Day before yesterday also he came. Just by chance, he was going through suddenly he came at the Vedanta Society of Austin. He got interested. He wrote a letter, can I come and join? Then they invited, he came, he sat over there, and he was very happy. He was telling, I am not satisfied with the religion that I am having, inheriting from my parents, and that is Catholic Christianity. Then he was asking, what shall I do? I said this. If you really follow the instructions and the teachings of Lord Jesus, you will also reach the same path. But Jesus' path is bhakti. That's why he is giving again and again importance on prayer. Pray, pray, pray. But in Hinduism, we are developing and we are talking about four: jnana, karma, bhakti, and yoga. If you like, it's okay. But if you follow the bhakti path of Jesus, you will also reach the same goal. You need not to convert yourself into Hinduism. It's not necessary. The fountainhead of the Christianity, Jesus, whatever he said on experience, his own experience. And that is why Christ said he saw God. And the disciples say they felt God, all of them. This is the beauty. This is the, unless and until you experience. This is Raja Maharaj is sitting over there below Sri Ramakrishna. We call him Raja because Sri Ramakrishna once commented, this boy, he looks simple, but he has the capacity to rule the whole country, the administrative capacity. Very quiet, but administrative capacity. And then Swami Vivekananda said, is it? He is having the administrative capacity, so he is Raja. From then onwards, it became Raja Maharaj. Maharaj is the word we say, it is in North India. Any respected person is called as, addressed as Maharaj. And sometimes they will address the cook also as Maharaj. This is the problem. Anyway, they will address the cook as the Maharaj and the respected people also as the Maharaj. Maybe the cook is also a very respected person. Without cook, there is no food. Without food, we cannot survive. So maybe for that. So, and in South India, to give the respect to the person, they say Swami. Anna Swami, like that they will be addressed. Swami means respected person. And that way, nowadays it is not, I don't know whether it is so much, but in Swamiji's time, Vivekananda's time, it was there. So the two type of people came from North India, from South India. And South Indian disciples, they started calling us the Swamis, the Swami. And the North Indian, Maharaj. So both the things are there, addresses Maharaj and Swami. But in Ramakrishna mission, when we say only Maharaj, that means Raja Maharaj. Brahmanandaji. He was considered as the mind-born son of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And this Raja Maharaj, he was not only the disciple. Sri Ramakrishna used to consider him as his own son. See, he inherited everything, but still he used to do a lot of tapasya. Constantly. He will never stop practicing japa. His lips used to move like this constantly. And sometimes Sri Ramakrishna used to say, looking at this Rakhal, his original name was Rakhal, I immediately remember God and go in samadhi. So constantly repeating the name of God. This is the thing. Then when somebody asks, Maharaj, why you are practicing so much? You have already got everything. Then he said, Thakur has given us, but we have to hold it. We have to inherit it. Our parents have given us so much, but if we are not capable to hold it, then everything will be lost. So the spiritual power also, unless and until we realize ourselves, only by blessings, it cannot continue. So here Swamiji is telling like that, religions are two different varieties. One is having the book, another is not having the book. Those who are not having the books, that means the experiences of their previous people, the founders, that only different type of mythological stories and they develop in that way. So this is the Christ. And similarly in the Buddhism, the Buddha experienced and his direct disciples also experienced. And in the Hinduism, the Rishis they experienced and many followers they also experienced. So this, at the moment there is no experiences, some of the religion, they have stopped. This is the last and nobody can realize God. That is wrong. Some of the religion, they are telling that this is the last one who has realized. Only we have to listen to him and no one else. That's very wrong. Everyone should have the capacity, at least the opportunity to realize God. So Swamiji is telling, and in one story they say about the Christianity, John, he was going towards the church. Then one beggar was sitting over there, the leprosy, he was suffering in leprosy. And he was begging for alms. Seeing him, the compassion came in the mind of the John. And he said, gold and silver I have none, but whatever I have I give unto you. Stand up and go. A normal person. The moment he blessed, immediately this person became totally normal. He stood up, thanked John and went away. Quoting this, long afterwards, one Pope was telling someone, see, John told we don't have the gold and silver. Look at that. Tons and tons of silver and gold is coming. And he murmured, because he can't say before the Pope. So he murmured, the gold and silver entering and spirituality going out. So Tyaga and Bhoga, it cannot go together. Any one you have to take. If you are taking the Tyaga, you have to renounce the Bhoga. Because without that, you cannot have the experience. See, here we find like that. If there has been one case of experience in this world, in any particular branch of knowledge, it absolutely follows that this experience has been possible millions of times before and will be repeated eternally. This is a statement of Swami Vivekananda. The moment they say, you cannot realize God, because that last person who has realized and that is all, is wrong. The moment they say, in the Jainism also, this much, and after that, no one can become like that, the experienced one. Why not? And in Christianity also, the only begotten Son of God. Why? We too can become like that. If the Jesus has realized, and that we follow and will surely realize. In Islam also they say, is the only, the Paigambar, the messenger of Allah, of God, and no one can, this is also wrong. And in the Sikhism they say, this is the last Guru and there will be no Guru, only the book will be the Guru. Why? So that is why Swamiji is telling, uniformity is the law of nature. What once happened can happen always. So this is the beauty of the Hinduism, the Sanatana Dharma, that door is open. And here, every time, they are insisting us that you have to realize God. Why you are constantly coming and asking for the blessings? You are having the same quality as I am having. Here they say, no man can be religious until he has the same perceptions himself. Swami Vivekananda is telling. Till then, we are trying to be religious. We are trying to be, until and unless we are not having the experience. That is why Swami Vivekananda is giving the definition. Religion is realization. The moment you say that this is the religion, then you have to either realize, and then only you have the right to say, religion is realization. Then he is telling, like Vivekananda, it is better to be outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. Very clear. Simply say, I have not realized God, I am trying to do that. But the moment somebody will say, and then immediately look at the sky and he will say something as if he is talking with the God directly without... And this is not good. I saw one person, 2, 3 temples were there, a small temple. And one pujari, at the time of Arati, he used to pretend that the God has come within him, and as if he will fall down at the time of Arati. And people used to gather in that temple, the small temple. The more people, the more donation. After a few years when I went over there, the other 2, they were remaining like that only, because they could not pretend like this. But this person has got a lot of followers. And the temple, it was an ordinary temple, now it has become a concrete and beautiful temple, electricity, generator, drinking water, it has developed. The people, they like it. They think this is the only way to realize God. But they don't understand. So why he is doing like this only one particular time? Afterwards, just normal. Why? Once you realize God, obviously, all through your personality will change, complete change. You will be only loving and merciful, kind. If it is not, then what is the fun of that? That's why he is telling it is better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. And in another place, Swamiji is telling, I can stand everything but hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is so much, and particularly in religion, hypocrisy is too much, because it is inside. Nobody can see. Whatever you are closing your eyes and whatever you are doing, nobody knows. So it is very easy to. The science of Raja Yoga proposes to put before the humanity a practical and scientifically worked out method of reaching this truth. In the first place, every science must have its own method of investigation. Slowly, we will go through the Swami Vivekananda will find this is the way we are entering into the Raja Yoga, or the philosophy of the science, and Patanjali Yoga Darshan. And here he is telling, until you first practice the method, there is no religion. You have to practice. There are truth, and the sages, they tell it, but centuries after centuries, the sages are telling some of the truths, and you are not practicing it. Simply listening and afterwards criticizing, it's not good. There's a system of methods of practice, and the science has its own way, spirituality has a different way. Unless you do that, it is of no use. Take up the method, practice honestly, and then if you do not find this higher truth, you have every right to say there is no truth. Any method you take up, and then sincerely you must practice it. When the Buddha, that time he was Gautama, he was leaving for sannyasa. Then his friend, his father's friend actually, who was driving the chariot, secretly dropped him in the corner of a jungle. Buddha will go away, and before just saying goodbye, he said, may I ask you one question, please? He said, yes. You were having everything. Kingdom, a beautiful queen, everything. Now, what you were having, you were leaving. And for what you were going, you don't know whether you will get it or not. Then Buddha's answer was unique. He said, if I can't realize God, then I will think that there was a mistake in my practice. But God is there. That is truth. If I fail, that is my mistake, but not of the truth. Truth is there. Swami Vivekananda and other disciples, they were practicing. Then naturally, this type of question comes. We are practicing for such a long time. But why we are not realizing God? Then Vivekananda said, suppose we don't get the Rama, shall we go for the Lakshmana? We will only stick to Rama. That means this ideal we have taken, we will continue into this. A majority of the people, what they will do, they will take one ideology, after some time, after practicing, they will leave it and go to some other place, and then after some time, some other place, like this, they go on doing. And finally, at the end, they will declare, standing on the rooftop, there is no God, I have tried 10 times. And Tulsidas is telling, take up one idea and be sincere to it. Practice as they are telling, instructed, you will surely. Tulsidas is telling, Satya Vachan, Adhinta, Parastri, Matri, Shaman. These three things only. Satya Vachan, truthfulness. Adhinta, humbleness. Parastri, Matri, Shaman, controlling your senses. Just three things you practice. Aise Hari na mili, Tulsi, jhoot jaban. Come and tell me that you are a liar. Tulsi, jhoot jaban. If you tell someone that you are lying, it is just like to an honorable person. If they say that you are a liar, it is just like death sentence for him. So Tulsi said, come and tell me that I am a liar after practicing these three. Satya Vachan, Adhinta, Parastri, Matri, Saman, Aise Hari na mili, Tulsi jhoot jaban. See the way? Challenge. Even after this, without practicing, without accepting the challenge, without doing anything, those people are telling, I don't believe in God. They don't believe themselves also. Because they have not experienced anything. Like this they are telling. So Swami Vivekananda is telling, in acquiring knowledge, we make use of generalization. And generalization is based on observation. We first observe fact, and then we generalize, and then we draw our conclusion or principle. One step by step he is proceeding. He is telling the Raja Yoga, observing the internal states, and instrument is the mind itself. In the Raja Yoga, what we are doing? In Bhakti Yoga, it is not like this. Bhakti Yoga, it is external. You have a God whom you love, whom you respect, whom you believe, and you are praying, you are doing everything with Him. But in Raja Yoga, you are left to yourself. So obviously, who are you? You are your mind. What you are going to do? You are controlling the mind, trying to control your mind. With what? With your own mind. Swamiji is telling, the power of attention of mind, when properly guided and directed towards the internal world, it analyzes the mind. The mind has a power. Now it is going here and there. That's why he was telling, suppose you are going to everybody, you are not concentrating, you won't get the result. Haji karte rahiyo, baitha apna tham. In Hindi, they teach very nicely. Since there are so many gods and goddesses, so many truths, so many philosophy, you need not to criticize, you need not say all are false, mine only is the truth. No, they are also good. So you say, yeah, Haji, your path is also good. Your way is also good. Whatever philosophy that you are practicing is also good, I accept. But I prefer to follow this. Haji karte rahiyo. Baitha apna tham. But your philosophy you should hold to that. No, I like this, let me be like this. So this is the uniqueness, and it gives concentration. When you go to the temple, all so many gods and goddesses, you will find that devotion is not coming. You are going and praying to so many gods and goddesses in one place there. So obviously after the finishing, when you are coming out, whom to pray? Whom to concentrate? So you're vacant. And suppose you go and like Ma Durga, okay, Ma Durga is my goddess, and all others you offer pranam and then go and sit before the Ma Durga, have prayer and then concentrate on her, you'll find satisfaction. So that is the way mind has the capacity. But if you are channelizing in different sources, this is the observation of the yogi. Then naturally the power is going to different places. It's not, but if you concentrate in one point, what happens? Illumine the facts to us. Because it's tremendous powerful. The power of the mind are like rays of light. Being dissipated, when they are concentrated, they illumine everything. This is the only source of knowledge that we have. Power of the mind is the only source that we have, and there is no other source. So obviously, we cannot waste it. Sometimes so many thoughts will be crossing our mind, and sometimes unnecessary thoughts will come. So many things are coming and going away. So naturally, the power is dissipating. Our mind is going to different, and that's why in the Brahmacharya, when trying to be religious, trying to receive the sannyasa, he has to be aloof. No connection, particularly with his, when someone is coming to become a sannyasi, the first condition that at least 12 years he should not have any connection with his relatives and friends and known people. Why? Otherwise, the moment you do, oh, my brother's son, whom I like so much, now had fallen in an accident and all these things, then I like to go to see him. That won't do. Burn the boat at your back and follow me, Jesus said. Burn the boat. If the boat is there, there is always a chances to go back. That's why one should not meditate on the bed. Why? Because the pillow and the bed has attraction. Okay, now we have done 10 minutes japa, lie for another half an hour. So there is always the bed attracts. In our younger days also, when we were students, the parents used to say, don't sit over there and read. Go to the table and read. Because that is an environment is there. On the bed it is totally different. You like lying and then reading, you cannot concentrate. So the meditation also, you should have a corner, the place. You should go and sit over there. When you come to the temple or sit over here, every time, everything only about religion, spirituality we are practicing over here. And that's why environment will help you. The moment you are sitting over here, you do not to think, immediately whole mind will be concentrated. And inside the temple, inside the shrine, one should not read newspaper or discuss any other things except religion. Because the environment should not be broken. So that is the reason Swamiji is telling, from our childhood, we have been taught to pay attention to things external. Never to pay attention to things internal. And most of us have nearly lost the faculty of observing the internal mechanism. In our education, all the time we are reading external things, but never they taught to meditate. Have they ever in our schools? No. Nowadays only they are introducing. And one girl I saw is in our Sarada mission we went. In Arunachal there is a Sarada mission, 50 kilometers away from our ashram, on the hilltop. Only the Matajis, they are also ladies only. In that remote corner, how they are serving, it was unique if you go. Fearful places, but still they are nicely maintaining. And one girl was sitting and praying, but she had to scratch her head. So one hand was here, she was supposed to be like this, but now the scratching, so right hand is here, scratching, and left hand is here. Eye closed, she is praying. There's a beautiful picture that I saw. That way she is sincerely doing, praying. And if we teach our children from the very boyhood, meditate, try to see light within your heart, And then slowly, after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, go and study. Every day, if we are practicing, you will see the whole personality will change. You will become, or she will become calm, children will become calm, quiet, concentrated, and very good behavior. So this is necessary, this is essential. Why in our society they used to teach Matri Devo Bhava, Pitri Devo Bhava? After long experience, they understood the human mind is wild. If you are not tying it down, giving the training from the beginning, it will destroy the whole thing. If the child calls his father by his name, "Hey John, come over here," what is it? We cannot think like this. So we have to be respectful. Otherwise, we will lose. And lose what? Shraddha. The moment we are losing Shraddha on the seniors, and ultimately we will lose Shraddha on ourselves. We will be very good in mathematics or in chemistry or in many other branches of science, but not a human being. Like a machine. Human being means consideration. And that consideration should grow, respect should grow from the childhood. Otherwise it is impossible. So this is the training that they developed back in India long. And it seems it is all old things. It's not necessary. It is necessary. Why? To control the mind. Because mind is becoming egoistic. So obviously the society is helping us. Go and bow down. Swami Vivekananda is telling, by offering pranam, you are gaining. Why? Your ego is to some extent going away. The gaining by what? Your ego is to some extent going away. So this is the thing. What is the use of such knowledge? Now Swamiji is asking the question, why meditation? What is the use of such knowledge? In the words of Swami Vivekananda, first place, knowledge itself is the highest reward. Secondly, there is also utility in it. What is the utility? It will take away all our misery. What is the utility of meditation? We will be free from the misery. First thing is the knowledge itself, and then it will take away the misery. How? Where the misery comes? In the body? No. Misery comes in the mind. If the body is not mind is not connected with the body, you won't feel pain even. There's sometimes some people that develop like that. The brain is not working. And the doctors will go on beating here and there. Are you feeling? Are you feeling? No. Why? They're touching the body, even it is not coming over there, because the mind is not attached. Sometimes we are looking like this, as if we are seeing. So many things are passing, but we are not looking at it. I told you that funny story that I had with the senior Swami, who was trying to give me an idea with little money and little time. He was planning to visit so many places. When I doubted, I told him, how can it be only with little this 100 or 200 rupees? You are planning to visit so many places. Then he started giving me, he was actually, it was a mosquito net was there. He was showing, suppose this is a Howrah railway station. And I am boarding here, then I am going here, going here. I was looking for first 1 or 2 minutes, seconds, and then I lost interest. I was thinking something else. He understood by seeing my eye, and then he, what is this? And the moment he asked, I answered, mosquito net. And he became furious, he was mad with me. I am explaining so many things and this became mosquito net. He was showing the map actually on the mosquito net. But then, so this is the, we are looking, but not looking at all. Vacant look. Sri Ramakrishna wanted a picture of a bird sitting on the eggs, looking, but the bird's mind is all inside. how the chicks will come, like that slinky. The yogi must be like that. He's looking, but it's not just observing that way, not caring too much. Major portion of the mind is within, and back and look. It's not reacting at all. This is yogi chakshu, the eye of a yogi, constantly thinking inside and meditating. A little portion of his consciousness, awareness outside. So Swamiji is telling, there is also utility in it. It will take away the misery. And how? All misery comes from fear and unsatisfied desire. These are the two things. We have a desire, and to fulfill the desire, I'm always anxious and I'm fearful. And we all know when we were students, before our examination, how much fear. Why the fear? Teachers are not going to beat us. Why we were afraid? Because our fear was whether we'll be able to pass in the exam properly, getting good marks. That was the fear. And from the fear it comes. The first misery comes from the fear, and fear comes from unsatisfied desire. And we will find that we never die. The fear of death will never be there. We are perfect. So how can there be any desire? We are all already satisfied. We are already full. I don't need anything else. Both these causes being absent, there will be no more misery. Vivekananda is telling, there will be perfect bliss even while in this body. And this is what Shankaracharya said, Jivan Mukta. There is only one method by which to attain this knowledge: concentration. Thank you, friends, up to this today, and then in the next week again we will try. But next week I will go to Ganges, from there to Detroit, and if we can't come back in the Saturday evening, then our Bharadananda ji will give a proxy on the Sunday morning on behalf of me, and next again we will meet. I will try to come back on the Saturday evening itself, if it is possible. But Detroit devotees, they are trying to organize a big function. And we must have to go. That is what we should do. We are missionary. We have to go to different people. We have to talk to them. And then slowly we have to inspire each and every one of them. So many little children came in Austin. In the beginning, obviously, they were not coming near, not understanding me. Slowly they started liking me. And whatever I said, and when we were speaking about the philosophy, and slowly all of them, they were sitting and looking, and then when they were not understanding any terminology, immediately asking the mother, what is this? That means they were listening. So this is the way we can reach out. So sometimes I may go out and then come back afterwards. So the next day again we will read from Vivekananda's book, the Raja Yoga, and I think by July we will begin with the Patanjali Yoga Darshan, and from aphorisms after aphorisms we will read and explain. Now today I will recite the next stotra, next sloka of the same. All these days we were reciting Aham Manobuddha Ahamkara Chittani Naham, and this today will be the second one, Nacha Prana Sangha. Nacha Prana Sango Navai Panchavayu Nava Sapta Dhatu Nava Panchavayu Nabapanipadam Nachopastapayu Chidanandarupa Shivoham 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 In this sloka after sloka, Adi Shankaracharya is explaining. In the previously, Man, Buddhi, Ahamkar, Chitta and Nam. Here he is telling, Nacha Prana Samgo. There are Prana, Pran, Apan, Bhyan, Udan, Saman, Panchavayu, Nacha Prana. And then we will discuss in depth about the Prana because that is very important. In the next classes, we will discuss about the Prana. Nacha Panchavayu, Udan Vedanta. Nacha Saptadhatu, Nacha Panchakosha, Annamaya, Monomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya Kosha. When you look at the body, there are 5 sets are there. Nabapanipadam, neither are the sense of knowledge and sense of action, and Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. He is explaining about our body, the physics, which usually we think I am. The moment we say I always mean this body. That is wrong. I am not this body. So this Atma Rupa, what is that Atma Rupa? Shivoham, Shivoham. In the next days again we will read. Thank you.